Hello, it's Vicki McCarthy. Thanks for joining me today. Today I have something a little different. I'm going to show you how to draw a cupcake. So I'm going to use some Express It white blending paper and some Copic markers, and I'm just going to show you how I store my markers. I have this super stack, which I brought from the shopping channel actually, and it holds all my red violets in the bottom. It holds all of the neutrals, which are the E's in the middle, and all of the blue-greens in the top. Then in the very bottom section underneath, I have all my Stardust Jelly Roll markers, which I use for glitter on some of my cards that I create, and particularly the big-eyed girls that I draw. And then in the very top, I have my fine point markers, and I have my Copic Multiliner in a fine point. I have my other textures and pencils up in this section as well. So I'm going to take a pencil and a rubber and start drawing. Now it's really easy. All you do is 2 lines, bit of a curve across the bottom, and then you're just doing like a lot of wavy shapes on the top. And you can see how I'm just going to bring my eraser in and rub that out. Now I have my Copic Multiliner in 0.25 and I'm drawing 2 lines. Now, this makes your work look really confident. So if you're not confident with drawing lines and you go over and you do 2 lines, as I'm doing here, it looks really nice and it looks as though you have a confident hand. Now I'm going to make sure the ink is dried, and I'm going to erase that. All right, now remembering your birthday is the stamp set I'm using. And I'm going to be putting those inside the card, and here are the Copics that I'm using. And just to make sure that they blend, I'm doing a little test, and this is a great tip for you. Just test on your scratch paper first so that you know they will blend well together. So the colours I have, the lightest is RV21, and I'm starting in with RV21 first. Then I have RV13 and RV06. So with the lightest, RV21, I'm going to outline the top of the cupcake and then go back in with these little scribbly circles so that you don't get blended, well, so that you can blend in the inks much better and you don't get stripy, stripy lines on it. I'm just going in and getting some cover. Now I'm coming in with my darkest colour, and the light is coming from the left-hand side, so I'm bringing my RV06, which is the darkest colour, to create the shadows on the right. And you can see I went out of the lines there. So the Colorless Blender, you just bring that in and push the colour back over the line. It's a really easy way to fix your mistakes. Now I'm coming back in with that darker colour again, the RV06, a tiny little bit on the other side, and darkening up that shadow so that it's, or thickening that shadow so that there's a bit more shadow on the right. Now I'm coming in with the RV13, which is the medium shade, and you can see I'm blending that with a little circular motion again, all the way around, and then I kind of reverse the circles. You can see I'm still going in the same way here, but you'll see where I reverse the circles. There we go, they're reversed, so it fills it in a little bit better. And I'm going to leave some light, a patch of light on the centre in the left of the cupcake there, which is where the most light will be hitting it. Just in that section there, and I'm going to create a little shape first and then blend that. So we've got a really light shape in the middle, which is just one layer of that RV21, and coming in and blending it all together. Just coming in to darken the shade again, the RV06, which is the darkest shade, just to give a little bit more shadow, and then blending again with the RV13. Okay, now I'm coming in with the chocolate colours. So these are going to be E33, E35 and E37, and you can see I've done a little test piece first just to make sure they'll blend well, and I'm happy with the blend. Coming in with the darkest first, just doing the outline, and then underneath there's going to be a shadow cast under there as well. And now I've come in with the lighter colour. And again, those little circles all the way around, so this is the E33. And I'm just going to fill in the entire space with the circles. And you can see how this helps you avoid lines and just helps it blend much more smoothly. Now this is the very darkest colour, the E37, and again I'm going to create the shadow on the right hand side because the light is coming from the left. Very thin line down the left hand side, but most of my shadow is going to be on the right. You can see how the icing would cast a shadow on the cake itself as well. And I'm just coming in with that darkest E37. And now bringing in the E35, which is the medium colour, to blend that. And I'm lining it up with the shade and light on the pink part as well. So where the light hits the top part, that's where it's going to continue down into the base of the cupcake. And this is the lightest colour again coming in. So this is E33. Now I'm coming back with the darkest E37 to just darken that shadow, and I'm using a flicking motion just down the side there so that it doesn't get a solid line. It just gets the idea of the shape being there, and some circles. So between the flicks and the circles, that'll help the blending. Now the medium shade again, E35, coming back in with a circular motion, and a little bit more dark shadow under the icing with the darkest colour. You can see I made a mistake there, so I'm just pushing the colour. Oh, actually, I'm taking the colour out there, and I'm going to come back in with the deepest pink and just fix it up. Okay, now I'm drawing some lines. As you would see, this is a cupcake without a patty case on it. It's the cupcake taken out of the patty case, and when it comes out of the patty case, you'll always have these lines going down your cupcake, so I wanted to add those in as well. Now here we have the cool grey, and I have a cool grey C1 and a C3. This is the C1 I'm starting with. Now I'm coming in with the C3. I'm just going to put the darkest shadow right next to the base of the cupcake, and the lightest shadow is the first one that I laid down. It comes out a little bit further. There's some C1 going in again. And my Colorless Blender, I'm just going to sort of dot this around the outside, and what that does is it just softens the shadow so it's not too severe. And that's the shading done. So I'm going to make the card now, bring in all the elements. So I've got the Cupcake Builder Punch, and this is going to be the sprinkles on the top in Strawberry Slush. And I think I cut out about 12 Strawberry Slush sprinkles, sprinkles. And then I came in with some Whisper White cardstock, and I cut out about 12 in the Whisper White as well. So I've got the pink and white sprinkles on the top, and this is a really easy way to create lovely circles. You don't have to draw them, we're just going to paste them on. Okay, so there's all the sprinkles ready to go, and I have the small heart punch from Stampinup with the strawberry slush. I'm going to cut out a couple of those. The first one goes on the outside, the second one will go on the inside. Now I've just brought in my Copic Multiliner and fixed up some of the fine lines. And the Wndow Frames Collection Framelits, the second largest size for the strawberry slush. And the largest size for the strawberry slush, and the second largest size for the image that I've just drawn for you. And I'm using the hardwood stamp set, and I adore this stamp set. It's got so many uses. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this horizontally across the card so it looks as though the cupcake's sitting on a wooden table. And I'm using soft suede ink on baked brown sugar cardstock there. You can see I need to do it twice because the stamp is not quite big enough, but it's easy to do. You just line it up like this and do it a second time, and that will cover your whole card. It's a really large card base. I'll have the measurements underneath. I ended up making it larger than I wanted to because the cupcake just grew and grew. Now I'm using just all the scraps of my Stampin' Dimensionals. I use the scraps on my own work and I keep the nice ones for the card classes that I teach. But the scraps work just as well. You're not going to see this on the back, so it's fine. I'm just peeling off all those dimensionals and popping that onto the strawberry slush piece. And I'm going to put some more dimensionals on the back and layer that onto the baked brown sugar card base that's been stamped with the soft suede. All right, now I think it's probably time to put those sprinkles on. I'm using a really fine glue pen here, and it is great because you can add the glue and pick up the sprinkle at the same time just by pushing the tip into it and then just turning it over. So I'm putting all the white sprinkles on first so that they'll be nice and even. I'll have an even distribution of the white, and then I'll bring in the pink sprinkles next. The reason I wanted some white sprinkles on this card was because it has a white background, and I wanted to bring some of that colour into the design of the cards, hence the white sprinkles. And I was really pleased with how it turned out. So when you put all your pink sprinkles on, then there's a couple more steps to put this card together, and I also want to layer a white piece inside because I like to finish off all of my cards and make sure that they're as pretty on the inside as they are on the outside. So that's your cupcake. And now this is a great tip for you. If you have these Stampin' Dimensionals, save the empty pieces because this is a great place to use your crystal effects, because what will happen is your little piece that you're working on there can slide around and it's not going to adhere to the backing sheet, so it's easy to lift off afterwards. So save those pieces, they do have a good use. Now I've brought in some Dazzling Details glitter, and I'm just going to sprinkle a small amount into each little sprinkle circle. And less is more with this. You can always go back and add more. It's hard to take away if it smooshes out from the lines, and smoosh is a technical term. Okay, yeah, there was a little bit that just got away from me there, so I flicked that back into the sprinkle with my nail. Now I'm using the sentiments from the Remembering Your Birthday set, and I'm stamping them in Strawberry Slush ink on Whisper White and just layering that inside the card. And you can see I've put some scratch paper down because I've been using a lot of glue. I don't want to lay that piece into some glue and then spoil the whole design before I've even finished. So that's a little tip for you as well. Always have some scratch paper handy. And then I felt that I really wanted to echo this little heart that's going on the outside of the card on the inside as well. So I cut out another small heart to go on the inside of the card. Snailing that inside, just under the happy birthday sentiment. And for the Crystal Effects heart, I'm just using a half a dimensional to pop that onto the center of the front. And you can see how pretty that looks. It's a very sweet card. I hope you enjoyed that today. I'm really pleased to announce that Stampin' Up! Are going to be bringing in some alcohol markers, and I can't wait to buy a set of those for myself. I'm really looking forward to playing with them as well. They're called Blendabilities. Thanks for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye for now.